Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. Within a year, Montanans will be placing bets on pro and college sports.
This as Governor Steve Bullock signs a new gambling bill into law today, potentially generating Montana between $4 to $6 million a year.
House Bill 725 allows the state lottery to offer sports betting at locations that already have machines that sell lottery tickets.
It's estimated sports betting will raise $1.5 to $2 million for the state's general fund and another $3 to $4 million for a school scholarship fund. The Montana Lottery has now has up to 1 year to implement the new law across the state.
The governor vetoed a second bill that would have put sports wagering under the Department of Justice's Gambling Control Division.
Well, Governor Bullock's signature also confirming a commitment to fight the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous persons. House Bill 21, known as Hannah's Act, requires the Department of Justice to hire a missing persons specialist. That specialist will manage the state missing person database and work with state, local, federal, and tribal authorities. The bill is named in honor of Hannah Harris, a Lame Deer woman found murdered on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation in 2013.
Ads are designed to get our attention, but when Google refused to run an ad from the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, it caught the attention of Congressman Greg Gianforte and Senator Steve Daines. Google denied the ad, saying any promotions about hunting practices, even when they're intended as a healthy method of population control and or conservation, are considered animal cruelty and deemed inappropriate to be shown on our network. Well, Gianforte and Daines wrote Google's CEO, urging that decision be reversed. It worked. In the last hour, Q2 received an email from Google saying the decision not to run the ad was a mistake.
President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin shared a lengthy phone call this morning, their first conversation since Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report was released.
That phone call is being noted for what was and what was not discussed. CBS's Natalie Brand is in Washington with the latest.
President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin held their first conversation since the release of the Mueller report.
He actually sort of smiled when he said something to the effect that it started off as a mountain and it ended up being a mouse, but he knew that because he knew there was no collusion whatsoever.
The 448-page report from Special Counsel Robert Mueller did not find President Trump nor his campaign aides conspired with Russia. But it did find, quote, sweeping and systematic interference by Russia in the 2016 presidential election. President Trump was asked if he warned Putin against meddling in future elections.
We didn't discuss that.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders was pressed on why not.
Every person that's not an American voter has no business in our elections. We've said it a lot.
Here on Capitol Hill, top Democrats continue to turn up the heat on Attorney General William Barr, setting a new deadline in their push to see the full Mueller report.
In a letter, House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler threatened to move forward with contempt proceedings if the Department of Justice does not respond to their request by Monday morning. Barr already missed an earlier subpoena deadline.
This is a grave danger for American democracy.
House Democrats would now like to hear from Special Counsel Mueller directly. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, in their phone call, Presidents Trump and Putin also discussed the crisis in Venezuela, as well as the denuclearization of North Korea and trade.
Well, a crash on Billings West End sent 3 to the hospital and blocked traffic for more than 2 hours tonight.
That 2-van accident near the corner of South 24th Street West and King Avenue happened just after 6 o'clock. The impact landed a van on its roof, one of them sending the driver to the hospital. 2 family members in that other van were also transported.
Billings Police Sergeant Clyde Reed says all injuries appeared to be non-life-threatening. The westbound lane of King Avenue West was blocked and all other directions detoured. A Huntley High School student has been suspended after he apparently made a passing comment about shooting guns at the school. Now, that possible threat sent parents into a frenzy and now has the district re-examining its notification policy. Superintendent Mark Wandel tells Q2 as soon as the child made the comment Thursday, the principal notified police and the student's parents and started a discipline procedure. About an hour later, school officials determined there was no threat and school would go on Friday, but with police presence on campus. He says that's when the rumor mill started, with parents fearing the worst. So he took to the district's Facebook today to explain, and tonight he says next time he plans to notify parents sooner. Again, there is no current threat to the Huntley schools.
An update on a story we told you about yesterday. A man found dead in the Tongue River in Rosebud County has now been identified. These are some pictures taken at the scene Thursday by the Rosebud County Sheriff's Office near Ashland, where that body was recovered. The Rosebud County coroners identify the man as 52-year-old David Waxalong of Ashland. No word yet on a cause of death. An autopsy was conducted today.
Well, turning our attention to weather, Q2 Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire has a look at the weekend ahead. Bob, it looks beautiful with a little bit of rain.
Yeah, a little rain starting to move into the forecast. We still can't decide, do we want to have spring, do we want to still have winter? So we got a cold front we got to talk about. Let me show you. Here's the way this thing's dropping down out of Canada right now. It'll continue to make its way into southern Montana by tomorrow morning. You see Saturday, 6:30 a.m. Most of the moisture, though, generally still across the high line from like Great Falls to Glasgow to Sydney. But then watch what happens. You'll notice that cold front drops a little bit farther. Another batch of moisture starts moving in by 6:30 Saturday night. Some of it gets close to the Billings area. Then on Sunday, that's snow getting pretty close to us in the morning. Then it becomes scattered rain showers off and on throughout the day. But here's the rest of our forecast. Here's what it's talking about this weekend. It will be 64 degrees for a high on Saturday with a 20% chance of rain moving in late in the day. Then on Sunday, look for some more scattered rain showers, possibly mixing with snow, but on a 40% chance of rain showers moving in late again on Sunday night. The high will be about 42. The low that night down to 41. We'll have the rest of your forecast in a few more minutes.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Well, college graduates all across the state will walk the stage, collect their diplomas, and begin the next chapter of their lives tomorrow.
And here in Billings, another class of students set to graduate from Montana's oldest college, Rocky Mountain College, holding its 137th commencement. The graduating students rehearsed today, marching into the Fortin Gym, a process that will play out Saturday in front of their family and friends.
Rocky President Dr. Bob Wilmuth talked with the class of 2019, delivering some words of encouragement.
I'm going to talk about resilience. I think that's what makes the world go around. I don't think it's the powerful or the rich or even the educated. It's about resilience. It's an old adage about living in the moment, so I would hope they'll take a few minutes to themselves and embrace what they've done, the significance of getting a degree, and a degree from Rocky Mountain College.
Rocky's graduation starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at the Fortin Gym. MSU Billings will also hold its commencement tomorrow morning. That starts at 10 at Metro Park.
The University of Montana in Missoula, Montana State in Bozeman, Montana Tech in Butte, and UM Northern in Havre will all hold graduation ceremonies tomorrow as well.
Well, 100 years of educational history. Students, teachers, and staff, past and present, are celebrating the centennial of Orchard Elementary.
Q2's Jenny Fick takes us to the event and brings us a personal view.
So we're here at Orchard Elementary. We're celebrating our 100-year anniversary. We're excited to be here and honor the students that we currently have as well as the alumni.
So, how do you celebrate a century?
To go with the trifecta, so food, music, and games. Orchard's a neighborhood school. It's a generational school, so a lot of our parents have come to school here, and so it's cool for them to come back to our school and just kind of see how things have changed over the years.
Orchard has been improved upon many times in the past 100 years.
When they took down the original building. So the facilities and just the programs that they have an extra. They have 2 principals now, which is wonderful for here. I mean, I just think it's blooming. Certain culture here that even if they move away, they still are drawn back. Just the overall, their friendliness, they care about each other. Yeah, I like that.
Alumni could walk down the halls again and take a look back. Alumni including one man who holds Orchard near and dear to his heart, my grandfather. Grandpa Fick spent most of his teaching career at Orchard.
Well, I was here for 15 years, and we had 6 principals. So I don't know, I think we wore them out.
And oh, did he have some memories.
Well, back there in the 70s, I'm not sure the year, Principal Ted came back from the principal's meeting. He said, I've got a big announcement that female teachers will be allowed to wear a nice pantsuit occasionally. It was kind of earth-shattering at the time.
There was no shortage of reminiscing, reunions of past coworkers, students, even children and grandchildren of former students he had encouraged or influenced.
Gave everybody a chance to shine.
Curriculum may be a little different now.
Being that agriculture is so important in this state, I took kids on field trips, like to the cattle sale, and boy, they were surprised. They'd never seen anything like a cow going to the bathroom.
Clearly, a lot has changed. But one constant?
One thing that I enjoyed was parents sending such good kids.
It's really rewarding to be here because the kids love the attention that you give them, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a very special place.
A meaningful 100 years for Orchard School. Here's to 100 more. In Billings, Jenny Fick, MTN News.
Thanks, Jenny, and a big happy anniversary from Q2 to all of the students, families, teachers, and staff who have learned and served at Orchard over the last 100 years.
All right, there is still more to come here on the 10 o'clock news. Next, a local business hoping to clean up Billings one bar at a time.
And in sports tonight, the Yellow Jackets celebrate back-to-back regular season titles. Scott hears from the players.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.